The Great Depression doesn't have to be depressing. I have a lesson here for you that will take some of the depression out of it. It's a 7-day lesson, but as many as you might be thinking, I don't know if I want to do 7 days, you don't have to. It's very flexible. You could cut this down to 3 days or so, determining what aspects of the lesson that you want to use. I think it's really important to start off right off the bat and have kids talk about what's currently going on in our economy. What are things that they've been seeing on the news, looking in newspapers or seeing things on TV, from high unemployment, housing foreclosures, bank issues, lending issues, cash for clunkers, things such as that. Just a good brainstorming idea for kids to think about what's happening now. And then once kids list those things, I think it's good, and any history book will have this, a good section in your book dealing with what caused the Great Depression in the late 20s and into the 30s. And I think what kids will find that's interesting is there are a lot of things that are similar. There was high unemployment, much higher in the 20s or 30s than we're seeing now. Credit card practices that were very poor, a big separation between the wealthy and the not wealthy, and things such as that. So I think kids will see some similarities and get them thinking, okay, what have we learned from 70 years ago to today? So that's something that's really important at the beginning. Once kids kind of have the causes down and you can kind of get into the effects of the Great Depression, what things happen, I think will also be important for them to look more so to today to see, okay, what are we doing about these things today? And I've attached numerous political cartoons that students can look at and see what is the message, what is the cartoonist trying to point out by looking at some of these images. Students can see those things and they can look through that. And then I've also attached some images from the Great Depression. What were things that were there? Not political cartoons, but photographs that were there. One of which many of you will probably be familiar with, Dorothea Lange's Migrant Mother series. There are 6 photographs in there. You don't have to have students look at all 6, but sometimes students get intrigued with this story. And I have a link that's attached there that kind of talks about what Miss Lange was seeing when she saw those pictures. You can even take it a step further and ask kids, is there an iconic image of today's depression? Has there been something that's out there that really is seen as, that's the image of what we're experiencing now, like the Migrant Mother series was. So kids can examine some photographs so they can kind of get a visual representation. It also gives them an idea of what the Dust Bowl was like. I have a link attached there where students can read a fictional diary entry of what the Dust Bowl was like. Now you may be thinking, well, do I want kids to read fiction about this? It's kind of that historical fiction. There is some fact that's based in there, but the names have been changed and stuff, and they've kind of added numerous people's experiences to the story so kids can get a pretty concise feeling of what someone that was 14 or 15 was experiencing during the Dust Bowl. So that link can be helpful for you as well too. And then at the very end, I have students conduct an interview with a relative or someone that was alive during the Great Depression and have them ask them numerous questions, what they did during the Depression, how they got by, what their biggest struggle was, and what they've learned and how their life has changed because of their experience as a child during the Depression. And then I think that's pretty powerful, kids, to see, am I experiencing the same thing as maybe my grandmother or grandfather was, or whoever I interviewed was during that time today? Am I experiencing things the same, or are they a little bit different? Now your time frame can also be adjusted with this as well too. In my time frame I've listed here, I've listed 7 days because 3 of the days I've given for presentations, kids presenting this. If you don't want to spend the time to do the presentation, kids could do a report. You could have kids pair off in groups and they could maybe put a collage of things together that they've gotten. Okay, we've each interviewed 3 people and we've kind of summarized the experiences together, and groups could present. That would make it go much faster. I would really have each kid do some sort of the interviewing though, because I think that's pretty important for them to have that one-on-one connection. But feel free to do a report or something else if times it crunches, we all know. So if you're looking for something that can really take the past and bring it to the present, I think this is a good lesson for you, dealing with depressions and recessions of the 20s to what we're dealing with today.